Welcome to Holy Week. I certainly hope and pray you've been having the best Lent ever. But if not, good news. We still have a few more days till the beginning of the Triduum. Plenty of time to still immerse ourselves into the sacred mysteries. So I suggest over this coming week, you will take time to reflect deeply on our Lord's Passion, as we have just heard from the Gospel according to St. Luke. One way of doing this is to read the account slowly, trying to identify with various people. Ask yourself, for example, in what way perhaps you might be like Peter, certainly pledging your discipleship to the Lord only to betray that pledge when faced with adversity. Or perhaps how you might be like Pilate, certainly not holding anything against the Lord, but acquiescing to the world, the crowds, and their demand for self-indulgence. Or perhaps how you're maybe like Mary Magdalene, so faithful to our Lord to stand with him in his trial and his suffering. Or easier still, how much are you like either of the two thieves crucified with Christ? Here's a little true story to illustrate. It's about a missionary priest who would offer Mass in a Peruvian prison. One time, a friend had sent him a couple of hundred rosaries to distribute. The priest, however, knew that the prison held more inmates than that, but he also knew that some of them were political prisoners. And so he assumed that because of their communist philosophy, which denies the existence of God and repudiates all religious practices, they certainly would not want something like a rosary. Well, after finishing the Mass, the priest asked those who desired a rosary to form a line. One by one, he placed rosaries around their necks. The line of prisoners, however, seemed to grow rather than diminish. When he got to the last rosary, 10 guys still remained. So the priest held up the rosary and said, "I'm sorry, guys, this is my last rosary, and I don't know to whom to give it." Well, one of the prisoners yelled out, "Padre, you have to give me that rosary." And the priest said, "Why you?" And he said, "Look, Father, I am a thief. I admit it. That's why I'm here." Then he glanced towards those arrested for political insurrection, and he said, "But I'm not like these political guys here. I'm an honest thief." Well, even the political guys laughed, and the priest placed the rosary over his head. He smiled, revealing his crooked teeth, and then took the crucifix of the rosary in hand, raised it to his lips, and kissed it in front of everyone. One of the two men crucified with Jesus was also an honest thief, inasmuch as he honestly confessed his crime and accepted his punishment. If we too were truly honest, we would also admit to having taken what does not belong to us. Maybe not money, but something much more precious, something we can neither repay or replace. Many of us, you see, are time thieves. Admit it. We steal time. We steal it from our families. We steal it from our employers. We even steal it from God to pursue our own selfish interests and pleasures. We then try to justify it with excuses or hide it with lies. Yes, we steal from one another with every broken promise and every failed commitment. And mostly, we steal from God. Even in our guilt, we look to steal his mercy when justice is due. As St. Augustine once said, "Make me a saint, O God, but not yet." Not while we still have wants and desires for all the world, the flesh, and the devil have to offer. Yes, we want to steal heaven, just like the good thief, but not yet. Not until we feel we've stolen every possible minute in this life. If I make you feel a tinge of guilt, then good. A guilty conscience is a sign of hope for salvation. That hope becomes manifest when we turn to Jesus with the naked, crucified truth of who we really are. The second criminal refused to do that. All his life, he'd practiced self-reliance. Now he had one final opportunity to put aside that deception and rely instead on God. But he remained true only to himself and chose to mock the only one who could really save him. Perhaps he thought, no one has the right to judge me but me. He didn't realize the only just judge was hanging unjustly next to him for him. It's possible to be so convinced of our own righteousness that we lose everything, including perspective. To avoid that, our first step requires courage and honesty as we face who we really are. That is why the honest thief makes a good companion for us this Holy Week. The church recognizes the good thief as a saint, Saint Dismas. Like him, we appeal to Jesus with the words, "Remember me." With this plea on our lips, we will make it to Easter next Sunday and every Sunday thereafter. Imagine what it will be like to hear Jesus tell you, "Today you will be with me in paradise." No more struggles, no more tears, just being with Jesus in heaven forever in the great communion of saints. Yes, if we but say and say often, "Jesus, remember me," only then will we share fully in his final victory over suffering and death itself. As a reminder of that glorious victory, I encourage you to take home your blessed palm branch. Please do not bend, spindle, tear, or otherwise mutilate it, for these palms are blessed, symbolizing Christ's great triumph. When you get it home, place it behind the crucifix in your bedroom or living room. Let it serve to remind you of the good thief, who in his great suffering also experienced great joy, great solace, great consolation. By reflecting on his example, we can overcome bitterness and grow in humility, even with a little bit of humor. But let us not do this alone. Instead, let us hang with St. Dismas and ask him, along with all the angels and saints, to pray for us from their home in paradise.